Hello everyone, how are you all? Okay, yes. Do you have a good memory? Very good. Sometimes the memory may play a trick on us. Sometimes we may forget many things, isn't it? That is natural. Forgetting is natural. But if you forget an incident completely, what will happen to you? Or a part of your memory, you forgot a part of your life you forgot. What will happen? So let's check what will happen here because we are going to learn a new story here. Do you know what's the name of the story? It is Bepin Choudhury's Lapse of Memory. Bepin Choudhury's Lapse of Memory. In this story, Bepin Choudhury he forgets a small part of his life. That means he said he never had been to Ranchi. That means he never stayed in Ranchi. But many his people came and said to him that he was there. Many incidents they shared what happens there in Ranchi. They shared some of the incidents which happens in Ranchi. But Bipin Chaudhary couldn't remember these things. And he became crazy. What happened to my mind? Why I couldn't remember this? They said some evidence, that is, you fall down and you got a wound on your leg. That all are there. Wound is there on his leg. But he couldn't remember he was there at Ranchi. Then what happens next? What is going to happen? That we are going to check in the story. Bipin Chaudhury's Lapse of Memory. It's a very interesting story. It has four parts. We'll take a small part. Two parts we'll take now. Next class we'll take the next two parts. Okay, so let's go to the story. We can check what really happened to Bipin Chaudhury. Whether he went to Ranchi or anything happened to his mind or his memory. We can check it. Ready? So let's go to the lesson. So yes, we are going to check the story Bipin Choudhury's Lapse of Memory. It was written by Satyajit Ray. Do you know who is Satyajit Ray? Satyajit Ray is a very famous Indian film director. So he was the greatest film director, and some of the movies he directed as Padar Panchali, like that. So many are there. So let's check what is there in this. It's about the lapse of memory. When the memory, how a person's memory was, he forgot the things, how he lost his memory. He forgot the things, and many members there, they are there witness. They came and talked about him, but he couldn't remember. So shall we check the story? So look there, part 1. Every Monday on his way back from work, Bipin Chaudhury would drop in at Kalicharan's in New Market to buy books. So Bipin Chaudhury, every Monday when he go back, he stop there and he will buy the books. What is there? Crime stories, ghost stories, and thrillers. The books which he likes to buy are these type of books. He had to buy at least 5 at a time to last him through the week. So he'll buy at least 5 he need to buy because that week completely he want to read the book. Then what is there? He lived alone, was not a good mixer, had few friends and didn't like spending time in idle chat. So he lived alone and he was not a good mixer, means he will never mix with others. That is, it's not join with others to talk simply. He doesn't like that one. That means he doesn't like to spend the time simply chit chatting, idle chit chat. Idle means simply sitting, idle chat, unnecessary routine conversation. He doesn't like that one. Today at Kalicharan's shop, Bipin Babu had the feeling that someone was observing him from close quarters. That means nearly. Somebody was watching, somebody was observing him. So he think like that. So what he did there? He turned round and found himself looking at a round-faced, meek-looking man who now broke into a smile. Somebody is looking at him. What he said? I don't. Suppose you recognize me. Have you met before? Asked Bipin Babu. Bipin asked, hey, have you met before? The man, a round-faced man, looked at him and said, the man looked greatly surprised. We met every day for a whole week. We met every day for a whole week. A whole week, we met every day. I arranged for a car to take you to the Choudhury Falls. Choudhury Falls. So he was confusing. No, I arranged a car for you to reach Choudhury Falls in 1958 in Ranchi. My name is Parimal Ghosh. Ranchi? So he said, in Ranchi I met every day, almost every day in a week. And I arranged a car for you to take to Choudhury Falls in Ranchi. Then he asked, Ranchi? Now Bipin Babu realized that it was not he, but this man who was making a mistake. So he thought the man was mistaken. Bipin Babu had never been to Ranchi. He had been at the point of going several times, but never made it. He smiled and said, do you know who I am? The man raised his eyebrows, bit his tongue, and said, do I know you? Who doesn't know Bipin Choudhury? Bipin Babu now turned towards the bookshelves and said, still you are making a mistake. One often does. I have never been to Ranchi. I didn't go to Ranchi. The man now laughed aloud. What are you saying, Mr. Choudhury? You had a fall in Choudhury and cut your right knee. I brought you iodine. I had fixed up a car for you to go to Netherhut the next day, but you couldn't because of the pain in the knee. Can you recall anything? Someone else you know was also in Ranchi at that time. Mr. Dinesh Mukherjee, you stayed in a bungalow. You said you didn't like hotel food and would prefer to have your meals cooked by a bawarchi. So you're saying so many things. Can't you remember? What are you saying, Choudhury? We met every day. You were there in Ranchi. And you stayed in a bunkhole. Mr. Mukherjee stayed with his sister. You had a big argument about the moon landing. Remember? So you're saying so many things. I will tell you more. You always carried a bag with your books in it on your sightseeing trips. Am I right or not? So every time you are carrying books in a bag wherever you go, sightseeing trips, and you fell down and you have a you have a wound on your knee. Everything he says. Bipin Babu spoke quietly, his eyes still on the books. Which month in 1958 are you talking about? The man said, October. No, sir, said Bipin Babu. I spent puja in 1958 with a friend in Kanpur. You are making a mistake. Good day. So you are making a mistake. Good day. So in October month, I am spending there. I am doing a puja there. I spent the puja holidays there. But the man didn't go. Nor did he stop talking. He didn't go, but he didn't stop also. Did he stop talking also? But he did check there. Very strange. One evening, I had tea with you in a veranda of your bungalow. You spoke about your family. You said you had no children and that you had lost your wife 10 years ago. Your only brother had died insane, which is why you didn't want to visit the mental hospital in Ranchi. When Bipin Babu had paid for the books and was leaving the shop, the man was still looking at him in utter disbelief. So, utter disbelief, complete surprise. So he said a lot of things. He said many things regarding this visit in Ranchi. But Bipin Choudhury didn't remember these all things. Whatever he says, he couldn't remember. So many things. You can see comprehension check questions there. You try to answer this comprehension check questions after this one. Okay, we'll go to the part 2 in this video itself. Okay, so what happened there next? Bipin Babu's car was safely parked in Bertram Street by the Lighthouse Cinema. He told the driver as he got in the car, just drive by the Ganga. Will you, Siddharam? Driving up the Strand Road, Bipin Babu regretted having paid so much attention to the intruder. He had never been to Ranchi, no question about it. It was inconceivable. So inconceivable that he should forget such an incident which took place only 6 or 7 years ago. He had an excellent memory, unless Bevin Babu's head reeled. Head reeled means he was shocked and confused. So what happens there? He thinks, oh, why should I give more attention to that person? That was unnecessarily I have done. I should not do that one. So he was thinking, okay, he was shocked and confused. Why should I do this? How can I forget this thing which has happened 6 or 7 years ago? I couldn't. I should remember these whole things. So the things that happens there, he didn't remember anything. Was he losing his mind? But how could that be? He was working daily in his office. It was a big firm and he was doing a responsible job. He wasn't aware of anything ever going seriously wrong. Only today he spoke for half an hour at an important meeting, and yet, so he's thinking, no, he's thinking himself, losing mind, becoming mad. He's saying, no, no, what is happening there? Today also I talk half an hour in an important meeting. I didn't feel anything like that. He was doing a responsible job. Still, how it is happening? He didn't think like that. And yet the man knew a great deal about him. How? He even seemed to know some intimate details about his family. The bag of books, wife's death, brother's insanity, the madness. The only mistake was about his having gone to Ranchi. Not a mistake, a deliberate lie. It's not a mistake, it's deliberate. In 1958, during the pujas, he was in Kanpur at his friend Haridas Bakchi's place. All Bipin Babu had to do was write to. No, there was no way of writing to Haridas. Bipin Babu suddenly remembered that Haridas had left with his wife for Japan some weeks ago and he didn't have his address. But where was the need for proof? He himself was fully aware that he hadn't been to Ranchi, and that was that. Maybe no, I didn't go to Ranchi. Then why am I thinking about the proof? The river breeze was bracing, and yet a slight discomfort lingered in Bibi's mind. Bracing means stimulating. Around Hastings, Baby Babu decided to roll up his trousers and take a look at his right knee. Trousers means pant. There was the mark of an old inch-long cut. It was impossible to tell when the injury had occurred. So the man said, right knee, there was a wound. So he checked that one. He rolled up his pants and checked. The wound was there. He couldn't remember when the wound was occurred. So was the person said all true? Am I mad? Am I getting any problem? Had he never had a fall as a boy and cut his knee? He tried to recall such an incident but couldn't. He tried to remember. Then Bipin Babu suddenly thought of Dinesh Mukherjee. The man had said that Dinesh was in Ranchi at the same time. The best thing surely would be to ask him. He lived quite near, in Beninanandan Street. What about going right now? But then, if he had really never been to Ranchi, what would Dinesh think if Bipin Babu asked for a confirmation? He would probably conclude Bipin Babu was going nuts. No, it would be ridiculous to ask him. So he thought, if I go and ask there, if I didn't go there, if Mukherjee said, no, you didn't go there, then he'll think, why did you ask like that? Then, why I'm asking for a confirmation? Oh, he needs the answers for that. So he will think, I have become mad. I have some problem, going nuts, going mad, crazy. So don't do that one. And he knew how ruthless Dinesh's sarcasm could be. Sarcasm, making fun on somebody. Slipping a sipping a cold drink in his air-conditioned living room, Bepin Babu felt ease again. He felt easy. Such a nuisance. Just because they have nothing else to do, they go about getting into other people's hair. Getting into people's hair means interfering with and annoying people. After dinner, snuggling in bed with one of the new thrillers, Bepin Babu forgot all about the man in New Market. Next day in the office, Bepin Babu noticed that with every passing hour, the previous day's encounter was occupying more and more of his mind. If the man knew so much about Bepin Babu, how could he make such a mistake about the Ranchi trip? So he's saying, if that man know about me, so much things about me, then how could I forget a trip to Ranchi? Just before lunch, Bepin Babu decided to ring up Dinesh Mukherjee. It was better to settle the question over the phone. At least the embarrassment on his face wouldn't show. 235616. Bepin Babu dialed the number. Hello, is that Dinesh? This is Bepin here. Well, what is the news? I just wanted to find out if you recalled an incident which took place in 1958. So, Bepin Babu dialed the number. Check the phone number. He remembered the phone number perfectly. So he know, no, I don't have any memory problem. And he dialed and Mukherjee took the phone and asked him, do you remember, recall? Recall means remember. 1958, what incident? Were you in Calcutta right through that year? That is the first thing I have got to know. Wait, just a minute. 1958. Just let me check in my diary. For a minute, there was silence. Bepin Babu could feel that his heartbeat had gone up. He was sweating a little. Hello? Yes, I have got it. I had been out twice. Where? Once in February, nearby to Krishnanagar to a nephew's wedding, and then. But you would know about this one. The trip to Ranchi. You were there too. That's all. But what is all this sleuthing about? Sleuthing means investigating, uneven. Investigating, uneven. Sleuthing about. No, I just wanted to. Anyway, thanks. Bepin Babu slammed the receiver down and gripped his head with his hands. He felt his head swimming. A chill seemed to spread over his body. There were sandwiches in his tiffin box, but he didn't eat them. He had lost his appetite. Appetite means interest to eat something. So he got a doubt about that one. He called Mukherjee and asked. Mukherjee said, yes, we both went there to Ranchi. So that made him crazy. He couldn't remember such things. So what will happen next part we can check. Okay, third part and fourth part we can check in the next video.